Okay, so I just wanted to show you a really cool technique that we can do with distortion. And this particular technique basically expands the functionality of your existing plugins. So you can do so much more with them with this particular technique. And as well, it also not only behaves as a distortion, but it also behaves as a bit of a parallel compressor and also works really well as kind of an EQ as well. So it's actually kind of like 3 for 1. So this is a really cool technique. It's very commonly used on drums, but you can apply this technique to pretty much anything because of the principle involved. So, so yeah, let's have a look. So I've got a really simple thing here. I've just got a raw breakbeat with 0 processing on it, just completely raw, straight as it sounds, as it was sampled off the record. And I've got a stem here that I've taken from a track that I've mixed recently. So it's a processed bass stem. And what we're going to do is we're going to do stuff to the drums to give the drums like a cool character and attitude, and then also a good way to show you how this technique works. So it's actually a form of parallel distortion. So in order for it to be parallel, we need to use a send. So we're going to be running the distortion in the send. We're not going to solo the send because it doesn't matter what it sounds like on its own. What matters is what it sounds like when it's in the mix. Sorry, when the two sounds are blended together. That's the only thing that matters. No one has the ability to solo the music. So my most common plugin for this particular method is the SansAmp. I also have the hardware unit just here, but I actually prefer the sound of this plugin, funnily enough. And the crazy thing is, if you're a PC user, this is a free plugin that gives most paid plugins a real good run for their money. So there's, and I'll put a link in the description. So if you're on a PC, you can download this plugin. It's absolutely amazing. But for this, I want to use the standard Ableton saturator because I want to show you how you can actually expand its functionality with a really basic tool. And it sounds great as well. I really like the Ableton saturator. So we put that on a send. Now, what I want to observe is we've basically got 2 input stages. We have the send amount itself, the amount of signal we're sending to the saturator. So obviously with saturation, the higher the input level, the more saturation or the more harmonics are going to be added. So we're going to get more distortion. And then you have the actual drive itself, and they behave kind of differently. The input and the drive have a kind of a different sound. So we try to create a blend between these two. I'm going to play with some of the settings on the distortion plugin itself. And just going to play around with them. I'm not really thinking. I'm just looking to hear. It's going to be listening to see what sounds right. And also going to be using the output trim because obviously the signal is going to be coming in. It's going to be coming out very loud. So we need to correct the volume. And we don't want this distortion to be particularly loud. It just needs to reinforce the original sound, just to kind of tuck up underneath. So I'm going to be applying it to this drum track. So let's put it on. So we've got our saturator and our send. And I'll start blending it in. Right, I know I said don't listen to it in solo, but just for this particular instance, I want you to kind of get an understanding of what we're doing here at the very beginning, because this is just parallel distortion that we're doing at the moment. We haven't added the magic yet. So just listen to how crunchy that sound is. It's very severely crushed, but we're very gently blending it back in. So we're getting a little bit of that kind of crunch just kind of sprinkled into the beat. So I'll play it in solo and then I'll bring it back into the beat. You notice how it was almost behaving like a parallel compressor. So yeah, you basically just play with you just want to spend some time playing with the input stage and playing with the amount of drive, play with the plugin and the output, and just try to create like a nice mix, like a nice blend of the sound, something that feels nice. And yeah, so spend a little bit of time doing that. And I'm going to show you what to do next in the next video.